Welcome to ETF Leaders, powered by the New York Stock Exchange. Joining me today is Jeremy Schwartz. He is Global Chief Investment Officer at WisdomTree. Jeremy, great to see you. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me back at the ETF conference.
Okay, so now, Jeremy, tell me, what are the biggest challenges in 2022 and how can investors best manage risk?
So we're here on April 12th, which we just had another inflation report, another hot inflation report, and we've been telling people that inflation was going to be a problem, and it was going to be higher than people expected for longer than people expected. And so this is having implications across stocks, bonds, commodities, all portfolios, and for the traditional safe haven asset, which has been bonds, it's been the anchor of 60-40 portfolios. It's having its largest drawdown in 40 to 50 years to start the year. So what we've been counseling is, on the bond side, is to be in floating rate treasuries. USFR is our ETF, 1 week duration. The rates reset every week, tied to T-bill auctions. So it's in a year when bonds are down 9-10%, it's flat. It's growing with the Fed, reflects rising interest rates. But also, how do you think about those inflationary dynamics? Commodities are another important issue, and we're talking a lot about that as well.
Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about growth versus value in equities.
So tied to this inflation story, you've had rising rates. So I mentioned rates have been spiking, and it's causing duration within stocks. So the most expensive, high multiple growth stocks have been what's under the most pressure. Value, high dividend stocks. We have an ETF, DHS, it's high dividend stocks. As of this morning, it's up double digits when the NASDAQ is down double digits. So over a 2,000 basis point spread between high dividends and tech stocks. So I think that is part of the same inflation growth trade. We expect more of that as we still see inflation being an issue. So we think low duration stock, which is high dividend stocks, are going to be in favor for some time.
All right, digital assets. Talk to me about digital assets.
Crypto is a topical conversation. We were just here at Bitcoin Miami last week as well. The regulators have not approved a spot Bitcoin ETF. We still are working hard for that. But just like you hear direct indexing in traditional stocks and bonds, we're working on direct indexes to get holdings through a custodian like a Gemini, where you could get an index, an SMA opportunity tied to a broad diversified crypto index. We have one today called the R-Tree Index. It's representative of the crypto economy, and we continue to try to innovate because the ETF has been so tough to execute on. You need to get the direct exposure, and that's what we're working on with Gemini, the R-Tree, and other platforms.
All right, Jeremy, well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
And that's ETF Leaders, powered by the New York Stock Exchange.